Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the beautiful country of Bhutan, where today we are parked here at Paro International Airport. Today's flight is a short but scenic hop over to Kathmandu, Nepal. What makes today's flight interesting is our departure airport here at Paro. Only 2 airlines have pilots that are qualified to fly out of here, and flights here are only allowed during visual conditions and only during the day. Our route today will take us out of Paro with a very steep climb out over the Himalayas and into Kathmandu, Nepal, where we're going to be doing RNAV approach, so automation will be kept to a minimum. So without further ado, I'm going to be hopping into the cockpit, get the aircraft configured up for departure, and I will meet you guys once we're ready for pushback and taxi. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I have configured the aircraft. Everything has been set. I'm just going to adjust the brightness on these ECAM units. There, okay, there we go. Our route today, I will explain in a bit. We are ready for starting up our APU, and once that's done, we can get ready for pushback. So to start the APU on the Airbus, again, very simple. Go up here, master switch on, and just flick the starter button. We can come down here, and we can monitor the APU N1 basically. Once this reaches 100, it will be an APU avail message over here. And yeah, we can get the APU started then. Before we do that, I'm just going to explain the route. So we're going to be taking off over from runway 33, which is basically down there. We're going to be taking off. Okay, sorry. We're going to be taking off runway 33, which is down there, barreling down the runway and taking off up into these steep mountains here. We're going to take off with a very steep climb angle as to dodge that mountain. And then we're going to be taking a U-turn basically as we turn around and we fly towards our direct waypoint, which would be around 20 nautical miles away from the airport. From there we're going to turn right and go on to Kathmandu, and I will explain the approach into Kathmandu, as that is also quite complicated once we are at the top of descent or near.
Deck. On behalf of myself, your captain, the first officer and cabin crew, I'd like to take this time to welcome you aboard our flight. We're just wrapping up some paperwork up front here and waiting to receive final numbers from the ground crew, then we'll be on our way. Flight attendants will be coming to the cabin shortly with a very important safety briefing. We do ask that you give them your full, undivided attention as they review the safety operations of this Airbus aircraft. We do appreciate your business having you aboard this flight. If there's anything we do to make your flight any more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask. Welcome aboard.
Okay, I'm sorry, I just accidentally clicked the wrong button there and kind of shut down the aircraft. Yeah, I meant to hit this APU bleed and I hit that, my bad. Once the APU bleed has been turned on, we can disconnect the external power, go over here and dismiss our GPU. Once the GPU has been dismissed, we are now ready for pushback. So I'm going to get the pushback requested and get us underway. Lock the cockpit door as well.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at wind.
Right, we've been all clear to start engines. So again, start engines on the Airbus, very simple. Flick the starter to start, give it a second, and just flick engine number 2 to run. Alright, while engine number 2 is still going, I think I almost forgot. Yep, turn on the beacon lights, which is right there, so that should be good.
Please set parking brakes.
And the pushback seems to have been completed. Again, we're going to be doing a manual turn here, so let's set the parking brakes there for them.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
And get that out of the way.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
As you can see,
Unlocking gear.
engine 2, the N1 is building up nicely. And once our gear is unlocked, we will be underway shortly. Oh, engine number 1 also starts. So, let's wait for engine number 2 to get ready, and then I'll start engine number 1. Alright folks, engine number 2 has become available, so we're going to go down here and turn on engine number 1. So just turn on this, the ignition, on.
The low tide pressure lacking with the signal sign is off and have it visible to the crew at all times.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Image directed by the crew. Carry up to the house.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Secure the buckle and pull the strap tight. As you exit the aircraft, simply commence by pulling down firmly on the red tab or blowing into the tubes on both sides.
Alright, now we'll just wait for engine number 1 to get ready, and once both engines are available to us, we will be underway shortly. While we do that, wait for that, we can go up here and turn on the taxi lights and runway turn off lights. I wonder who those people are here at the airport. This picture is there. I will do some research about this later on my own. I don't know if I'll include it in the video, but yeah, it'd be cool to know who these are. As you can see, beautiful Paro airport here. You know, it looks like a temple more than an airport, honestly. But yeah, one of the most dangerous airports in the world, in the middle of this beautiful mountain range, and just excited to get this flight underway to Kathmandu. And the approach here is very scary. And in fact, in real life, the pilots, they turn off the GTWS callouts when they conduct this approach, which is this system here. They turn the terrain warning system off, so the aircraft doesn't scream when they come in for their line approach, because it's quite low to the ground as they approach. And only 14 pilots are qualified to fly this approach, I believe. So yeah, if I feel like it, I might do this return leg as well if I can learn. And yeah, that'd be quite an interesting approach. And while we've been talking, our engine number 1 has become available to us, so we can go up here and we can turn off the APU bleed and turn off the APU. After doing that, APU is going to shut itself off. We're going to go here, ensure that this is TARA and these are set to on.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
And I will also ensure I can set the flaps. Alright, flaps have been set for departure, aircraft is configured for takeoff. I'm going to taxi over to the whole short line over there at runway 33, and I will meet you guys there. Alright folks, welcome back to the flight deck. We have made it here to the whole short line of runway 33. As you can see, the whole short line is here, then traditionally where it is over there, but I don't know, I'll research on that. Runway 33, yeah, so here we are, we're going to be racing off here into the mountain there. If you were taking off a runway, I believe it's... What runway is that? Right, I believe if we were taking off from the opposite runway, we'll be taking off into this direction with that mountain in front and again another steep climb out. So without further ado, I've babbled on enough. I'm going to be turning on all the lights on this aircraft and we will get lined up and take off. Right, all those things are on, everything else looks good to me. Let's turn off the parking brake and line up. Right, Paro, again, this is one of the most, I think this qualifies as the most dangerous airport in the world, if I'm not mistaken, for commercial airliners. The A320 is the biggest aircraft that flies in and out of here, and this airport is only accessible by like, well, there's one road in the entire country that leads to this airport, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, if you ever want to fly to Bhutan, you better hope your pilots had a lot of experience here, because only captains are allowed to fly the approach into this airport. Not even first officers, and only 14 people are qualified to fly that approach. So yeah, quite a unique airport. So we're just gonna line up here, and I'm gonna stop talking, as if I keep babbling, I don't know what else I'll keep saying. Right, we're gonna line up here. As you can see, honestly, the A320 on a light load, on idle, it taxis fast enough. So just letting it build the speed. Let's just turn. I'm just gonna add just a hair of throttle there, just so it picks up the pace. Is the parking brake on still? No, huh? I don't know why it's responding so sluggishly all of a sudden. Right, we've lined up here. Let's set the throttles to, well, that was a pretty decent lineup, I'd say. Right, we've lined up. Let's set the throttles to 50%. Alright, that seems stabilized there, and we go toga. and positive rate of climb. Gear can go up. As you can see,
300,
quite a steep climb out here.
400, 300.
Too low. Terrain.
And we have the 2 low terrain callouts. As you can see, still climbing at nearly 3,500 feet per minute. And we're coming up on our turn. Still hand flying the aircraft because of the terrain. And yeah, again, that was a very steep takeoff warning. I saw some warnings there on my eCam page. I have absolutely no idea what those were, to be honest. I should have done a check before I took off. But it's okay. This is flight sim. This is real life. That would be a problem. But anyway, still hand flying the aircraft as we're doing a nice left banking turn. We'll try and bring the V speed down a bit just so we can build some airspeed. I'm going to go to the MCP and try and set auto throttle on. Set that, auto throttle. And we can set this. Alright, throttle should be in the climb position now. Still hand flying the aircraft. I want to just get clear of this mountain before I turn on the autopilots here. As you can see though, beautiful scenery, beautiful mountains. Yeah, beautiful takeoff. Alright, just gonna bank a bit steeper just so we can make this turn. Staying within the airframe limits of the aircraft, of course. And once we straighten out here, I will be turning on the autopilot.
2,500.
And again, that we can hear the 2,500 call out. Again, very steep terrain. And yeah, pretty risky, beautiful takeoff, but yeah, scary takeoff nonetheless. Let's level out. And wings level. And I can turn on the autopilot.
2,500.
Still flaps are 1. I'm not raising them up because given the conditions here. I'm gonna adjust the vertical speed. Put that to 2,000. Right, manage vertical speed. 2,000. Yep. Alright, our transitional altitude, because of our altitude today, is 18,000 feet. So even though we're above 12,000, we're gonna keep everything on because it's 18,000 once we take off from here. So guys, that's enough me blabbing. I'm going to cut now and I will see you guys at the top of descent. As usual, enjoy the time lapse. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the flight deck of this Airbus A320neo. As we continue our journey from Paro to Nepal, we are roughly right now around 150 nautical miles away from Nepal. We're going to be starting our descent very shortly. You could see we're at the tower descent. I would like to brief you guys on our approach into Nepal, Kathmandu. We're going to be doing the RNAV runway 02 approach. This approach is going to be quite different from any of the videos you guys have seen of mine. So I'd like to brief you guys upon it so you guys know exactly what's going to be going down. But before we do that, on your right, I'd just like to describe the scenery. As you can see, these are the Himalayas. I'm pretty sure you can spot the Mount Everest on this route, but I have no idea where it is, so I cannot be helpful to you guys on that. And on the left, we just have plains. But yeah, on the right, Himalayas. Pretty cool. Anyways, let's go on to the briefing. So to help you guys visualize it better, I'm going to have a chart up for the approach basically into RNAV02. So as you can see, our first waypoint here is going to be Ratan, at which our restriction is 10,500 and we have to be 250 knots. From Ratan, we're going to go descend down to Guras. From Guras, we're going to make our way to KT532. At KT532, our altitude has to be around 8,700. That is the restriction that is there. As we go on to KT530, our altitude maintains at 8,700. Restriction is there, we have to be 8,700 before KT530. We're going to then make our way to KT528, where we have to be at 8,240, then Doam 7,100, KT524 6,740, KT522 6,270, basically so on and so forth. We descend according to these restrictions until at finally at KT520 for our final approach we have to be at a final altitude of 5,280 feet. As you can see, all these curves are going to be not hand flown. I'll try and hand fly to see if I can, but yeah, we meander through the valley into the final and onto RNAV02. It's going to be quite a fun approach to do here. Yeah, so I'm going to stop chatting now, and I'm going to get the aircraft, as we're only 130 nautical miles away. I'm going to get the aircraft started ready for the descent, and I will meet you guys once we're about to start at Ratan. I'll meet you guys at Ratan, you know, so I can keep you guys in as we approach it. So alright folks, welcome back to the flight deck. As you can see, we're making our turn now to hit our waypoint here at Ratan. We have fulfilled the first restriction, which was 10,500, 250 knots. Our next restriction is to get to 8,700 feet by KT530, I believe. Yes, that is KT530. So next restriction, I need to stop saying that, 8,700. Speed, do we have a speed restriction there? Let's see, KT, yeah, we do have a speed restriction of 200 knots as well. So now that we hit Ratan, let's get down to 200 knots. Alright, hopefully we can slow down in time. And vertical speed, let's set this there. How far do we have to get there? 6, 8, we basically have 10 nautical miles, I believe. 10 nautical miles to get to 8,700 from here. So around 800 feet per minute is what we are looking for over there. So I'm just gonna put that to 800 feet per minute. as we're slowing down as well to make it to KT 530. Yeah, so let's keep it coming. As you can see, beautiful mountains here. We're about to enter the valley, meander through, and then hopefully we will get there in time. It's gonna be an evening / night landing, so hopefully it's all gonna go well. Visibility conditions, we pray for the best. Alright, we're now taking our turn to get to KT 530. After we hit KT 530, our next main restrictions should be Doven. Speed should go to 170 knots. In fact, sorry, that is my bad. Set that to 170 knots. Send in a notch of flaps. And we are looking at 7,100 for this next one. So we're gonna just set that to 7,100. Speed should be going down 170 knots. All good. Spoilers are armed. I'm gonna set auto brake to medium. Speed, keep it coming. Let's set flaps 2. Yep. Alright, all good. Aircraft's overhead panel is set. Landing lights are on. Everything is on. Yeah, so we're just looking for this approach in. As you can see, I think that's a highway road or something. Yeah, I don't know. Doven is around 5 nautical miles. Can I make it though? 5 nautical miles. I will need to get to 7,100. Yeah, I think 800 feet per minute is the ideal trajectory for us here. I'm gonna just throw in another notch of flaps just to be safe. And yeah, as we descend down to Doven, once we hit Doven, our next restriction, the main one that I'm gonna be aiming for, is gonna be the final there at 5,280. So this is it. I'm gonna no more time lapse cuts, guys, because again I'm gonna be here in the cockpit focusing, so you're just gonna have to hear me chatting. As you can see, beautiful view though, beautiful. Like, this is a scary approach though, as you can see how close the mountains are there to both our sides. Yeah, as we get to Doven, I'm just gonna set this to 5,200 and set this to 1,000. And our final approach speed should be that is up to our. This is going to set final approach speed 145 knots. As we begin to slow down for a final. This is going to be a fun landing, guys. As you can see, very scary as well because it is completely foggy there. I'm going to hope I can get there in time to KT 520. I'm just going to do this just so I can get there a bit quicker. Set speed there. It's going to slow down. And flaps can go to full.
2,500.
And that's 2,500 calls. So I'm going to put gear down. Gear can be going down. That can go up. As you can see, gear is down. Aircraft is beautifully set up for landing. Let's hopefully get a nice landing here.
2,500.
Again, 2,500 callouts, as you can see. So basically flying into the valley over to Kathmandu. This is going to be a fun landing. This is going to be a fun landing. A scary landing, but a fun one for sure. Aircraft is configured, just double checking everything, making sure we are ready. 3 greens, all good. Cabins, things, yep. Yep. Let's do this. I'm so nervous for this, guys, to be honest. I think we can ease our descent right now. We should hit that in time.
1,000.
Oh, the freaking system's working. TCAS. That's new.
1,000.
1,000 callouts are being made. Let's hope we can get the landing system on. Alright, I'm gonna disconnect autopilot shortly and I will hand fly the aircraft in. I do not have a visual yet, but we're gonna be hoping for the best. Yeah, again, no ILS here, so having that is useless. It's gonna be entirely visual. And I see the runway. I do have visual on the runway. I'm gonna disconnect autopilot. And now I'll be hand flying the aircraft in. Yeah, I have a visual of the runway, as you can see. Over to the top left of the screen, that is another aircraft with beacon lights flashing and strobes. As we come down here, we're lined up perfectly. City of Kathmandu, overflying right now. Hopefully I can get a good landing in, not embarrass myself again. Last time I flew out the Airbus, landed in Lahore, didn't line up perfectly with the runway, but this time the signs are looking much better. Pappy is looking good. Quite a foggy approach here into Kathmandu, but I think that's expected given the fact that it's in the middle of the mountains. A bit high according to the Pappy, so let's descend. And yeah, perfect.
500.
A bit low. Let's angle back up.
400. 400.
Yeah, you know, 400.
400.
Just maintain the glide slope.
300.
Alright, entirely visual now. Let's put
200.
this to idle.
100.
Okay.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
And reversers. And we should have 60 knots. Reversers can go in. And manual braking. I just hit the manual braking. And we'll take the high speed exit here. Oh yeah, okay, that worked a bit too well. Good on the braking there. Let's take the high speed exit off to our left. And I have just realized I have messed up. I did not record that landing with my flight recorder. So unfortunately, you guys will be unable to see that landing from a third person perspective. I apologize for that deeply. That is my fault. I should have known to record that. I am really sorry, guys. You guys can accompany me on cleaning the aircraft and we'll taxi back to the gate. Sorry for messing up the recording there. That is completely my fault. Anyways, we're gonna stop the aircraft here. Let's set the parking brake and clean up the aircraft. And I will get us taxied back to the gate.